So in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to prepare for the call, how to prepare for your research call or something that you call a nutritional assessment call. Basically, we're going to divide it into two parts. The first part, I definitely suggest that you take actually to talk about their problems and how the different things occur. And I'm going to give you exact questions that I used to get to the root of the problem that nutrition consultants have as far as their work goes, and it works really, really well. And then the second part of the nutritional assessment call or the research call, depending on what you call it, you can really focus on giving them something that you promised for free, either if it's a nutritional assessment call or anything else. Basically, I would put at least 10 to 15 minutes just to chat with them. It will sound like chatting to them, but basically for you, it will be a resource of really, really valuable information before you even go straight into the assessment or nutritional assessment or whatever you decided to offer them. So first, what you want to do is you want to prepare for the call, okay? You want to go over the messages, SurveyMonkey or emails that you exchanged, and basically to just familiarize yourself again with the individual that you're about to speak to. It's very important that you understand who you're speaking to. So I would definitely suggest that you pull information about their company on LinkedIn, which will actually give you an opportunity for a great start to your conversation. Like check their company website or other resources to get an understanding of their work life and to make them feel really special for focusing your time and energy on them. So they're going to give you their time, but you also want to focus your energy on them and really, really talk to them very, very personalized. Also, have a pen and paper ready and open your Word document. You don't want to start the call. You'll be probably very nervous. You don't want to start the call and then clicking on Word documents and finding your papers and pen. If you have a Mac computer or any other, or maybe a PC, maybe you want to record if you're working over Skype and maybe doing the research call over Skype, you maybe want to record the session because it will give you much more of an idea what you did wrong and what you could have asked. So as far as the start of the call, first of all, what I want you to do is you want to remind them of the survey and information you have found while conducting your research on the market, on the client niche. So focus on the aspects that are important to them and that are connected to the problems they have stated, right? If you connect your research to their daily issues, they will be more inclined to converse, ask questions, and give you immediate feedback. So in case you're having difficulty having them respond to you, you can just politely say something in the lines of, before we move forward with the nutritional assessment or talking more about the research itself, I would love to hear a bit about your job and the things that you do at the company X, Y, and Z. This is a really good way to start the call, and you are focusing your attention on them because you want to listen what they have to say and you want to learn about them. So remember, in these calls, it's never about you, it's always about them. And in business, in successful businesses, it's always about your clients and it's never about you. So keep this really, really in mind. This will also give you a brief introduction to be able to ask other questions and introduction for the rest of the call, right? Hopefully they begin talking about what it is that they actually do, about their daily routine, and then you can actually maybe ask a bit more questions and get a bit more answers about different things. So finding information about their workday and how they actually spend their time and energy. As I said, have a pen and paper ready because you want to take notes. And if possible, you want to record those calls. I recorded calls that I did with nutritional consultants all the time, and then I listened to them again to be sure that I didn't miss anything. So focus on getting some questions answered in the first part of the call. As I said, be sincere with them, make sure you have a proper tone of voice, and make sure you don't sound like a robot. I mean, you'll be probably nervous, but basically you want to talk to them in a normal manner. Try to imagine them as talking to a friend, right? So you can ask the questions I will give you in the next lesson, but you also want to ask questions that concern you maybe as well. Your main focus is understanding their emotion and seeing the things that truly, truly frustrate them. Okay, so this is the purpose of the first part of that call, the first part where you will actually learn about them. So one very important note, when you're in the initial state of the call and you're asking questions, I want you to dig deep into the root of the problem that they are having, right? Give them to tell you about their problems and how does it make them feel. So completely focus on them. Do not go and try to validate businesses and offers you already have. I'm going to state that again. You want to listen to what they have to say. You're looking for the problems that they find really, really frustrating or painful. So hearing an emotional response like, oh, this is so frustrating, or I really hate doing XYZ, is the type of problems you want to hear about. If they state something like this, you want to start asking them more and more questions about that particular thing. Don't jump on the next questions just because you have this sheet of different questions. You have the sheet of different questions to get to the point where they say, oh, this is so frustrating, or the part where you actually get the emotional response. Once where you get the emotional response about the problem or the pain that they're having, stick to that and ask questions about that problem. How does it occur? And all the other things that you can think of. Imagine like you're a 6-year-old, right? Kids ask questions all the time. They ask questions about everything. When you get to that point where they have an emotional response, ask questions like a 6-year-old and don't run away to another question, because you'll lose the opportunity to really, really, really get them to understand that they have a problem and what the solution might be for them. So don't focus on anything else besides finding the trigger and the motivation that causes this emotion or frustration or pain. The emotional response will eventually make them consider paying for your services in the first place. So you don't want to miss this opportunity. So remember, people pay for things that eliminate problem, pain, or frustration for them. This is what they're happy to give their money for. So people will pay money for solutions and services that solve their existing problems. Also, one note that I have is that some people, when you talk to them, sometimes it happens that people live with a certain problem or a frustrating pain or something like that for a long, long time. And when you start to talk to them about it, they don't even understand or see this as a problem anymore. They just live with it and they just think it's just something that I live with. Your job here is to try and figure out, is this problem really, really painful for them? And if possible, you can even bring to their awareness how frustrating that is for them. And you will do this with the right questions and with just digging deep about certain things. Secondly, if people don't understand that they have a problem, or sometimes, because bear in mind that we never talk to each other. We in today's very hectic paced society, we don't talk to each other, and basically we never ask each other, how does that make you feel? Because it's sometimes really kind of uncomfortable for us. But what this does actually is, when you try and talk to people really openly and ask them, how does it make you feel? Sometimes they just don't know how they feel about it. They've never been asked. They didn't have time to think about it. So be really sure to focus your full attention on what they're saying, because if they get to a point where there's like a emotional reaction, that means that they might not have just put in their awareness that it's really this frustrating for them. For a lot of the calls that I did, I talked to nutrition consultants that had problems, and it was obvious that they actually have a problem and that it's really frustrating for them, but they didn't understand it. So when I started to ask a lot of questions like, how does it make you feel, and what would you rather feel instead, or something like that, this is a part where they actually got like a light bulb and saying, oh my God, this is so frustrating for me. So this is also something that you have to consider. And the second thing is that if they don't understand that they have a problem, if they don't bring it to their awareness, some people are very aware of their problems and how they feel, and some people actually are not that aware. So for those who are not that aware, they might have a problem with understanding what the solution could be. So here is a very, very important tip. When you start to talk with them about the solutions that they actually have, or the solutions that they would want for this particular problem, it might be very hard for them to figure it out. And your job here will actually be not, and I said again, don't do this ever. You don't want to lead them on for them to give you the solution that you want to hear and that you want to build or offer them, right? what you want to do is you want to maybe go around different things and solutions and maybe say something that other people said would be a good solution for them, just to get them thinking about the solution, and then leave them be. Let them think about the solution that would be really helpful for them as an individual, and don't kind of don't make the mistake of just trying to steer them to the solutions or offers that you would be very excited to do, because basically at the end of the day they are the ones that are going to pay you money, and it doesn't matter if you're excited about the solution or not, or the offer that you want to give them. At the end of the day, you want to get paid, and you want to solve their problem in a way that they actually want, that would make them happy to give you money. So don't make a mistake of steering them in the wrong direction and being subjective. So be very aware when you're doing the calls as well not to do this. So let's go and let's see what questions we can actually ask in the next lesson.